I'm focusing on Luke chapter 10 from verse 25 to 37. And in this particular parable, there are 4 types of people. The first group of people that we see in this portion is that group of robbers. I have decided to call them the value takers. They meet this person who is traveling. They attack him. They strip him. They beat him. They wound him. And they leave him half dead. They did not add value to him. They stole value from him. And this group, we see them in verse 30. In reply, Jesus said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he fell into the hands of robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. They leave him worse off than they met him. They are value takers. Unfortunately, in our society today, we have people that when you interact with, they leave you worse off than you were before you met them. Another group of people that we see in this portion of scripture, I would like to call them the value-free people. I'm using this a little bit loosely to show that they may not add value, they may not take value, but they just leave things the way they are. They leave you the way you are. The religious leaders represent this group of people in this portion of scripture. Verse 31. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. Verse 32, so too a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, he passed on to the other side. He passed on the other side. The priest and the Levite ignored the guy in a way. They didn't care about him. And in the world today, don't we have people who do not really care about the predicament of others? Sometimes we are that way, and unfortunately we end up being value-free. We do not add value to people, and especially people we do not know. And then there's another group here. This group, I would like to refer to it as the value adders. And this group is mainly represented in this portion of scripture by the Samaritan. He looks at the situation and he feels like, I can do something about it. I can do something positive about this negative situation. I can do something to alleviate the pain of this person. He does something that adds value to the injured man. He is a value adder. This is what verse 33 to verse 35 of Luke chapter 10 says. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, took him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day, he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. He had pity and he attended to this man. He added some value to him. He used his time, he used his energy, he used his resources on this wounded man to add some value to him. He's getting involved, identifies with the situation, is interested in the situation, gets involved in the situation. He adds value to this man. How I desire that we shall be a people who are value adders, who add value to the lives of others. Then we have the fourth group of people whom I would like to refer to as the valuers. The valuers are mainly in this portion of scripture are best represented by the innkeeper. The innkeeper. Valuers basically think of what am I gonna get if I add value to this person? If I do something, if I provide my services, what am I gonna get in return? And in verse 35, you see the valuers, so to speak. The next day, he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. And of course, that's exactly what the innkeeper did. The innkeeper took care of the person based on the payment they were going to get in return, based on what they were going to be paid. We need to not necessarily think about what will I get in return. The praise I'll get, the recognition I'll get, the money I'll get. We need just to think about helping without expecting anything in return. And I think that's what the Samaritan did. No wonder he's referred to as the Good Samaritan.